Hello, everybody. I'm not sure how I'm coming through. I'm trying to get this going.
This is Democracy Manifest.
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Thank you, Machine Line. Just subscribed. My chat isn't working, which is kind of a bit unsettling there. Give me 1 second and I'll see if I can fix it. Fix this chat, please. It should be coming up on the right-hand side, but it is not. So, the stream elements is in there. Yeah, that's in there. Okay. Not 100% sure. I may or may not have to sort of do something on the fly, but I've given it about 15 minutes before the debate, so I can fix, you know, the multitude of things that will inevitably go wrong. I do want to just 100% test everything, but hello, Austin. So good to see you. Can a man not eat a meal? A succulent Chinese... There is one that has the succulent Chinese meal quote. I won't lie to you. That is on there as well. You'll have to find it yourself, I think. Where is my... where's my control center for stream elements? Let's just go in. Stream elements. I probably should have checked this earlier, but hey, you know, it is what it is. Dashboard, I think. Update my details. Oh, that's not my time zone. Plus 8. Okay. No, that's not what I'm after. Hey, Dave. Good evening, sir. Good evening. I have got a coffee. I'm just sort of filling myself with coffee because this is quite late for me. So, hopefully I can do it. Resources. Alert overlays. Oh no, that's not what I'm after. Dashboard. Where's streaming tools? Overlays. There we go. Are we getting it through? Oh. Oh, Swifter, I'm fine with meta-ethics. I'm absolutely fine with meta-ethics. Because I'm meta-ethical relativist, so I'm actually good with that. I mean, he can. He certainly can. Why is that not showing up? Give me 1 second. Where's settings? Actually, I want stream elements. Give me 1 sec. Give me 1 sec. I'll log out. Okay. Okay. Hello. Chat. That did not appear to work. Let me just get this. Why is that not working? Why is that not working? Hmm. All right, I'm confused. I am confused. Hello, help. It's coming up with the latest subscriber. Yeah, it says latest subscriber is Machine Lies, so it knows that this is the right account. Interesting. Well, that did something. Maybe I should retry doing the text box, maybe. Okay, okay. Oh, that's text box. No, I don't want that. That did not fix things. Okay, so I'm a bit taken aback at this. So give me 1 second. Hello, 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 hello. What I will do is do something really silly, really fast. Properties. Okay. Yep. Yep. That's unfortunate. Oh God. All right. Ugh. That's the best I can do, I'm afraid. Give me 1 second. Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Hold it. It's so beautiful. It's so beautiful. Okay. Interesting. Oh, it's so beautiful. Woo. Sorry guys, I cannot get this chat to work, so I'm just going to have to think. I'll fix it up. I'll fix it up. But I am going to just put on the pause, so I'll talk to James and then we'll set this up. I'm kind of reading all kinds of stuff in the Yeah, my audio is supposed to leave you. I don't usually sit broadcasting audio in Zoom. I think it's sort of, you know, no offense, no offense. I love you all, but I'm not going to broadcast sort of, you know, what James and I talk about. No, it's supposed to be like that. All right. Look, don't make me put you on a be right back. Okay. Like don't make me do that. I will 100% do it. 100% do it. You guys. I know. It's expected. It's expected. I don't usually broadcast it. Yeah. I'm good. I mean, the chat is seriously doing me a frighten, and I hate it. But that's okay. I should have tested this earlier today, and I didn't. But I will put you on a be right back, and I'll be back as soon as the debate is starting. Hey peeps, yes. Have I turned off my mic? No, it's back on. Hey guys,
I'm gonna see if this guy.
Andrew
if this guy's actually
isn't
willing.
turning up. We're trying to find somebody else to fill in, so I've got something to show you.
This
Oh, thank you so
is
much, Robin. Really
Democracy
appreciate it. You
Manifest.
became a member. Awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I think that we will kind of get the thing going and sort of at least sort of say, hey, this is why it's been cancelled. Yeah, unfortunate, really unfortunate, but there's not a lot I can do about it. Hello everybody, hello. Oh, it's so many people here. I feel really bad, but you know, there's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is control myself. It is Democracy Manifest, absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh. All right, thanks for your patience, Mark. Good. Let me just connect my sweet little mic here. I am Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thrilled to be with you today. It is going to be a tremendous 12-hour stream. So, first, want to say we are thrilled to have you here for this epic debate, or I should say 12-hour stream, of which the first debate is going to be either one of two things. Someone will sub in for Andrew Wilson, or in the alternative case, it will be, you could say, a quick plug about our huge upcoming events, and also a huge thank you to Mark for being here. Mark, thrilled to have you. How was your day?
My pleasure.
Or I should say night going?
Yeah, someone just suggested I debate you, James. Can we have a moderator, please? I'll debate you. No, I'm joking. No, it's been fantastic. I've had a great day, actually. And so, yeah, I was staying up late. I was filling myself full of coffee, but, you know, no show. So, yeah, you know, that's them's the breaks, I guess.
Yes. So, folks, if you didn't know, about 30 minutes ago, Andrew had said that he didn't get enough sleep and he's just not going to come. So this is definitely a challenge where we're like, hey, okay, like, let's see how we can do this, where we are still going to have a tremendous 12-hour stream. I'm going to let you know some upcoming details, but yeah, it is definitely, it does make it harder on us to have these big 12-hour streams when someone cancels on us, especially if it's 30 minutes before. So that is disappointing because Mark is pounding the coffee over there because in Australia, what time is it there for you right now, Mark?
It is 11 at night, or 11, quarter past 11, yeah.
Okay. Well, we want to show you though, folks. So thank you for, Mark is going to stay up and debate from about 11 p.m. to 11 a.m., or I should say 1 a.m., and so we appreciate Mark doing that. He is ready to go, and he is all dressed up with no date.
Not sure about dressed up, but why not?
If anything, he's
I'm wearing my best, yeah.
Coffeeed up. If you want to email me at moderndaydebate@gmail.com, you can. And I know that people are saying, Andrew was up until 3 a.m. debating, and it's like, yeah, I saw that in chat. But Nicholas, I got to tell you, you either do one of two things. You say, all right, well, then I'm going to wake up and I'm going to have a bunch of coffee or pre-workout. I got up early at about 7 a.m. this morning because I'm in Pacific time. And so I'm 2 hours earlier than Andrew. And I just had some pre-workout. And here we are. And so, you know, if you do debate the night before, you want to keep your promises, though, for the next day. You know, the other alternative is if you're like, well, you know, if you're like, well, you know, the other alternative would be you just don't stay up and debate super long before you have a early morning debate. So
it's really personal responsibility, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, like, this is something. So, like, the fact that some people are like, "Whoa, he was up late last night." I'm not trying to throw him under the bus, but I am saying it does leave us out to dry. Where both Mark and I have arranged our schedule. So I do want to say, we are gonna, for about 10 minutes, we'll let you know, folks, if you're in the live chat and you're like, "Hey, I'm willing to jump in and debate on behalf of Andrew, so that Mark has an opponent."
Yeah.
We are open to that. I'll keep an eye on the live chat, and Mark will be here for about 10 minutes as I'm going to quick jump and say, hey, folks, we are very excited to let you know about some epic stuff coming up. So, for example, you had seen already, we are thrilled about this, as Uncensored America is a campus organization, kind of like Charlie Kirk's organization, and they are like, hey, we are very excited because we have this upcoming event, namely a debate between Andrew Wilson and Apostate Prophet. This particular debate, let me get this so you guys can see the image. It is coming up in Asheville, North Carolina. And folks, I'm telling you, if you are anywhere near, you absolutely want to go to this huge debate. So let me pull up that image. I want to say, folks, it is going to be on the Israeli-Palestine conflict. You really don't want to miss it. I'm pulling that image up right now. So if you are anywhere near there on April 28th, check it out. It is going to be huge. You can grab tickets for it in the description box. We are very excited about that. So that little image there, we have the tickets linked below. I will be there personally as I will be moderating the debate. Sean Semenko, who's a good friend, he is like, hey, James, like, we're happy to have Modern Day Debate come out and be the moderator. And so we do appreciate Sean for welcoming us in on this huge event. Also, we're very excited about this as well. Let me show you here. If you have not heard, this 12-hour stream is, let me just pull this up. Is for this particular, in addition to multiple reasons that we're plugging events, and then of course the debates themselves are what we do here at Modern Day Debate, and we're like, hey, let's do a 12-hour stream just to show that we're amped about a couple of upcoming events as well. And so you can see at the bottom middle, we are doing a lens fundraiser. So you guys, we face challenges at Modern Day Debate, but nonetheless, we are going to make this a big deal. We have these lenses for Modern Day Debate that we will use for, as an example, this upcoming debate that I just showed you with Andrew Wilson and Apostate Prophet. We will be using these lenses on the 28th. Guys, we're really excited about this. We are doing a GoFundMe. I am going to put this happy little link for this GoFundMe in the live chat. We want to say, folks, we are in a challenging spot this morning as Andrew has not made it. We are still going to crush our goal. We have a big goal, and that link right now in the live chat, GoFundMe link.
Can I claim secular humanism wins? Can I do that? No, I honestly I don't think of terms of debates as win or lose. I think that it is the conversation that's important. That you know, different viewpoints are put up against one another. I am just being facetious.
I know exactly. Sorry, my attention split between you and the live
No
chat.
No worries at all.
But
understood.
I agree that there is so much meaning that, or so much value that can come from debates. I think a lot of times people are like, oh, nobody ever changes their mind. But I would say, well, there's a lot of value in debates, even if that were true, which I don't actually think it's true.
Yeah, I don't think
that nobody changes their mind. But I would say this, is that there's so much education that comes from debates. People learn so much about their own position, about the other position, that debates have huge value. It's basically like listening to a lecture from two opposing, lecturers at the same time. It's like debate is a fantastic mode or medium for education.
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, I want to say...
Yeah. And that goes back to, you know, ancient Greek times where they used to debate in a symposium, you know, like it goes back a long time throughout culture.
100%. Yeah, it is cool that Athens is one of the greatest influences on the West in terms of cities, and that traces back to the old days, the mean streets of Greece, or in particular Athens, where
yeah.
Socrates would go around and question people. And yeah, so I was excited when I went to Greece. I got to see that myself.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was epic because so I got to walk around like these areas, these like old little market areas that now they're not markets, obviously they're ruins. But want to say though, thank you guys for all of your support. If Jim Bob is up, I don't know if he would be willing to jump in. Jim Bob is scheduled for later today, so I don't want to ask too much of him.
That's fair.
So I'm open if Jim Bob said he wants to jump in, like that's cool, but I don't want him to feel pressured because he is scheduled for later today, and it's also just kind of early in the day. So, but yes, let's see here. Let me show you right now this GoFundMe, as this really does help a lot, folks. So if you're kind of like, hey man, like I do want to help I do want to help modern day debate out. Seriously, we appreciate your help more than you know. I want to give you the explanation for like why do a GoFundMe for camera lenses is I will show you why right now. So basically to rent these lenses, it's approximately 10, if I remember right, it's about 10 to 15% of their value that you have to pay. In other words, let's say it's the lenses are about like $900. Well, then you got to pay about $90 a day to rent them. So these are fancy, like these are high quality lenses. If you watch DebateCon 5, that's what we were using. And I've got to show you though, we are excited, folks, as this GoFundMe, which I'm going to pull up. You can see it right now. This is the live page for it. Is right now we are working on the goal of $3,500. And I know it's like, holy smokes, James, like that's a lot of moolah.
It's a lot of cheddar.
It is a lot of moolah, I've got to tell you. But we think it's actually a very clever financial move. Here's the reason. We can rent these, and let's say it's like, you rent them over and over, but if you rent them 10 times, which is very realistic, because we do have the Outnumbered series that we plan on doing this summer, and then we also have Modern Day Debate on tour this fall, and then we also have DebateCon this fall, and then also Uncensored America, the organization putting on this debate between Andrew Wilson and Apostate Prophet. They are also going to be using these lenses for their debates that Modern Day Debate collaborates with them on. So this is going to be like all the time we're using these. So I've got to tell you, this GoFundMe link is pinned at the top of the live chat. It's also in the description box. So if you're like, hey, I'm curious about that, this is a great opportunity, especially because there's probably not going to be a debate right now. So your attention won't be split between a debate and checking out the GoFundMe. And so I know someone said, Shellshock said, who sells a lens for $3,500? Thanks for that question, Professor. It's that we're actually buying 4 lenses, because when you do an in-person event, you want 1 lens on each speaker, then you want a broad view lens that shows the whole stage, and then you also want 1 lens, or I should say camera, that shows the audience. So, got to tell you, you guys, we are excited about this. We have already raised about $445. We are thrilled by people's support. It means more than you know. And like I said, it's just financially more clever, where if we use these lenses 10 times, which we think we'll use them 10 times just this year, they will pay for themselves. So that is crazy. And the Venom Inside, let's see, gotta ask if you would stop spamming the old live chat. So I'm just gonna have to give you the old boot, because I think you know better than to just do this constantly. So check out that GoFundMe. And it's something that even if someone were to put in like a few bucks, is like, if we have 1,000 people from Modern Day Debate of our 219,000 subscribers, if we have 1,000 people throw in $3, we've basically met our goal. So many hands make light work. Want to say we do appreciate your support, and check out that GoFundMe link at the top of the description box.
Thank you so much,
and
Hanko Flamio.
also
I really
at the top
appreciate
of
it.
the old live chat.
All of the bullshit I say will be relevant. So
Mumble, thanks for your kind words. It says, thank you, James. Your mods are sitting on their hands. Let's see. I don't know what you mean. Oh, I don't even think there are any mods. I think most of our mods are asleep right now.
Maybe the mods had a late night and can't make it. Maybe that's what's happened.
I don't know where they are. The mods are not here, so that's what's going on. And but yeah, we are excited about the future, folks. So that lens fundraiser is occurring right now. So check out those links. And guys, thanks for your support. Like I said, we already raised, like I said, it's last checked, it's $445. And so thank you guys. It means more than you know. We are 13% of the way to our goal, which is actually after only 1 stream. And so we do appreciate your guys' support. It means more than you know. Now, Mark is looking for an opponent. So Mark is like, hey, I drank so much freaking coffee in order to debate Andrew Wilson, because
I'm wired right now.
He's like all drugged up.
Yeah.
And so we really do appreciate if anybody wants to jump in Mark, are there any topics that you'd be open to doing a very quick debate so that way you can get to sleep at a decent
I
time?
like theology. I like sort of morality. I like some sciences. I like evolution. I like most theologically tangential stuff like arc and things like that. Um, yeah, I usually veer slightly away from political stuff. I don't really think I do political stuff, but yeah, any of the philosophy debates and things like that, I generally will touch a little bit. Just dabble, in philosophy stuff. But generally, it's the sort of atheist versus theology that I really do a lot of.
You got it. So, folks, if you want to debate Mark on any of those, hey, this is a great time right now. You can jump in and do it. It would be epic.
Oh, could I just say one thing as well? I got my
Yeah.
start jumping in for somebody else. I got my start on Modern Debate when I think it was Leo didn't show up. Leo Filius didn't show up, and I jumped in for him. So that's how I started on Modern Day Debate. So if you can be brave and say yes, then you might get a start doing this stuff. If it's good.
Wow.
Yeah.
Huh. Thank you, Mark, for your kind words. I do want to give this is actually probably a good opportunity. So there are a few things that I don't think I've done a great job of. As in the live chat, if you are serious about debating Mark on any of those topics that he just mentioned, is if you tag me with at modern day debate and say, hey, want to do this, let us know. We are excited about the possibility of an impromptu debate so that Mark can put that caffeine to good work. And want to say, we're excited though for a couple of things. One, I'm excited to say thank you to all of our speakers, including Mark. Mark has been with us for about, man, it's got to be at least 5 years.
No, I think it's only about 3, unless I've just
Really?
completely. Maybe I'm not sure. Time's just flown by. I'm not even sure when I started doing this. I thought it was only like 3 or 4 years. I think.
Okay.
I'm not
It
sure.
seems like we've
Maybe
I
longer.
feel like I've
Look,
known
you
you.
could 100% be right. Like you could 100% be right. You're
feel like
right.
I've
It
known
has been that long. Yeah, maybe 4, going on 5, maybe.
feel like I know you so well that it seems longer, but that's all right. It's
No, that's fair.
cool. We appreciate you, Mark. Thank you so much that you have supported us so much and jumping in for like last minute debates in some cases, like you had mentioned. And so we do appreciate you, Mark. We appreciate all the speakers. And we got to tell you, folks, modern day debate absolutely does rely on the speakers. So these guys put in preparation for their debates, not just the caffeine, but just the reading and like putting together PowerPoints, things like that. And so we do appreciate it. And so Mark said the topics that he would be comfortable doing debates on, things that he's maybe read more recently. And so, folks, if you have those, just let us know. And
Well, it's
then,
okay. I just want to also add, if you don't actually believe in your position, probably don't debate. I think that people should at least be honest about where they're coming from if they're going to be honestly debating the topic. So don't feel like you've just got to go in there and pretend like you're a certain religion or something to get a debate, because I usually don't think they're useful. I think that they can be a bit wonky. I really like to debate people about what they believe rather than what they're pretending to believe, I guess.
I get exactly what you mean. And the audience likes that more too. I do want to say
Yeah,
hello
yeah.
as well. I think what we're kind of at the point where it's like, I don't think that we're going to find anybody that's
No,
going to
that's fine.
want to debate.
Sorry, I almost forgot. I want to wish Max a really happy birthday. It's Max's birthday, so happy birthday, Max. I almost forgot. I almost forgot, but it is Max's birthday. So Max, happy birthday, mate.
Happy birthday to Max. I agree. And we hope, Max, that you are doing well. And but yeah, we're Mark, I can let you go. I can let you try to wind down and relax, maybe watch
Yeah,
a
sure.
movie or something, and then you can rest. And so I want to say thanks again for your willingness, and I hope you have a great rest of your night.
No worries. I also, just to plug my own channel, I do debates, but I also do debate reviews and sort of reviews of other people's videos and taking logic apart, being sort of critical, using critical thinking to analyze them. Tomorrow morning for me, or what would that be? Tonight for everybody else in the other hemisphere, I have a debate dissection on my channel. It's a part 2, but you know, feel free to come along. My description's probably in the description below, I would guess, but yeah, hopefully it is. Hopefully it is.
Yep. First thing you see, the first hyperlink in the old
No
description
worries.
box is Mark's.
Take out Andrews. He doesn't deserve it.
And we had actually Connor Petty just tagged me. He said, "I'm willing to debate the original topic." So hey,
Okay.
Connor, if you're serious about doing like a really quick 1.5 hour debate, Connor, we can do that. Is shoot me an email at moderndaydebate@gmail.com. It'll be super short, and then so yeah, I'm gonna just quick hyperlink. debate@gmail.com is my email. And if you can just shoot me an email if you're serious about that, we can get you in here for a quick impromptu debate on the original topic. So Sam upon a star, thanks for your question in the old live chat, says, James, what time is the next debate then? Okay, so well, the next debate could be in 5 minutes if Connor is very serious about this. Otherwise, if you look in the description box, there is a full schedule of all of today's debates. So for example, 11 a.m. Eastern time, which is, we've already started that. That's when we might have this debate on secular humanism versus Christianity. And then 2 p.m. Eastern is Matthew Hakeem versus Planet Peterson on flat Earth versus globe Earth. We haven't done that for about a month or so. I don't know. It's been a while. So then Made by Jim Bob versus Craig, aka Fight the Flat Earth, on quote Evolution on Trial. That's going to happen at 5 p.m. Eastern. And then 8 p.m. Eastern is Alex Stein versus First Amender on quote Are Trans Women Women? That is going to be a huge headliner. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, that's basically that description though that I just read out loud is in the old live chat. And I'm just going to quick check and see if that email has come in. But I do want to say though, thank you guys for all of your support. And the Machine Lies says, if you have no one to debate, Mark, I can debate. I'm awake and chilling. Hey, thanks for letting me know that. And the Machine Lies, if you're still there, I'm not sure if you're Connor or someone else, but okay, they sent that 18 minutes ago. Sorry I didn't see that. Although it's okay to just tell me in the live chat, like, hey, I sent you an email. Let me see. Are you still there? Live chat is what I keep my eye on most during the live debate. So let's see if he's still here. And if so, we can get him a link. But yes, we are excited about the future, folks. And then let's see. Tyler Conway, I actually, I love to lift weights. I love to run. He asked what I do to stay active. I love to do those things. I also recently got big on the sauna. Mark, have you heard about saunas and like how good they are for you potentially?
Yeah. Saunas are Swedish, I think. Yeah, I've definitely heard of them, and they're supposed to be very good for you.
Yes, I have a feeling that you would probably, that you had heard of it and maybe were into it. Connor, okay, I just got your email, Connor. I'm going to send you the link, okay? Connor, I'm going to send you the Zoom link right now. Mark, you seem like the kind of guy that like you would know about the scientific research about these like alternative ways of staying healthy and active. Is that the sauna method is like, it's very much, a lot of research shows. Okay.
Well,
Connor,
I think
thanks
it's
so much.
I think it's more like going from the ice to the sauna kind of thing, the hot and cold exposure kind of stuff. So that's why it's really popular in Sweden, where they can just jump in the ice and then into the sauna kind of thing. But I don't think Australia's not a place you're going to find a lot of ice lying around outside. I'll give you the tip right now.
One sec, I just have the email coming in where I'm like, okay, let me see. is we're going to do is, let's see if we get Connor in here. What I will do is machine lies. I know that you had emailed. Sorry, I did not see that. If basically we might be able to get you in here. If Connor doesn't make it in, then what I can do is make that work. And David Brown, thanks for reaching out via email saying they're willing to debate. And we'll let you know if Connor does not log in. We will get you in here. But it looks like Connor just logged in. Okay, so
Sure.
what we're going to do it. Just adjust in OBS. And then Connor, can you hear me? Let's see. We have to maybe, I hate being so cutthroat, but what we might do is I just don't have the energy to, if someone isn't able to get Zoom working, I might go to the next person. No offense, Connor. I just, sometimes it's just, we do want to say we have a preference for people that are willing to use their camera for the debate. And Connor, I'm not hearing you, man. I'm not seeing you. Give it a second here. You also have to have a decent enough connection too. Connor, can you hear me? Connor, let's see. I don't know if. Sorry, Connor. Nothing personal, brother.
Yes, sorry, mate.
I'm gonna try to. It's definitely not working. I saw your comment, Connor. You just have to. It's. If you have a good connection where basically that's able to, work, is that makes a big difference too. So let's see. But let's see if the next person, the machine lies. We're gonna try this out, and let's see. Wow, thanks so much. While we do that, I want to say thank you so much. Sam just donated $50 toward our Lens fundraiser. So thank you for your support, Sam. Seriously, it means more than you know. We're up to $495. So that gets us to 14%. We just bumped up by a percentage point. Sam, thank you so much. It means more than you know. And I'm going to send this link now to, let's see. Now is not the time, Matthew. It's just the email. I just got an email. It's like, let's go. Here it is. Okay, the machine lies. If you were still there, I'm going to send you the link, and we can try this out. Like I said, we do have a preference for people that have their camera on, and also, you have to have a good enough connection to where, it can sustain that. So, thanks, Sarah, for your support. You appreciate your super chat. Grid One said he will do it. Getting ready if you need him. Let's see. I'm open to that. If these next two gentlemen that had emailed me are not able to, then I will definitely do that. So thank you, Sarah, for your support. And I want to say thank you for your, let's see, we've got Nick Brown. Thanks for being here. Is this a troll?
Odds are.
But the Christian Sodium channel says, I was totally about to try to join. You got no one to do it. I will. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for your willingness to help us out in this little challenge time. So, and let's see. So I just sent the link to the Machine Lies. And let me know, Machine Lies, if you get that via email. Like, let me know if it's not working. And yeah, so let's see.
He was in my chat at one point. I wonder what he was saying. I'm sure I saw a Machine Lies in my chat.
Let's see. Machine Lies will give you a couple more minutes, and then we got to go to the next person. So if you're able to click that link if you're listening, and jump in here as soon as you can, because Mark has to go to bed actually pretty quick here because he's in Australia. And cool, just logged in. Thanks so much for jumping in here. And like I said, sorry folks for being so cutthroat. I know that you're kind of like, oh James, like, you know, my Zoom, like, give me a second here to get it to connect. And I am sincerely sorry about that. Connor, thank you for trying. Connor, is Machine Lies, can you hear me? Your camera also is not on.
Hello.
Hi, okay, we can hear you. Great. Are you willing to use your camera?
Yes. Just give me 1 second as I adjust myself. If you don't mind, just give me 2 minutes and I'll turn my camera. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Basically, you need another 2 minutes.
Just make sure you're fully covered. I have trauma from Iron Horse.
Fair point. If it's to put some clothing on, then we...
It's to put some clothing on, yeah.
Yeah, please don't do an Iron Horse.
Yeah, and also my hair is a mess, so I'm sorry about that. Yeah, give me 1 second.
My hair's a mess too, don't worry about it.
Beautiful, big, beautiful head of hair, and Mark.
Oh, yeah.
And, some guys, like, pull off the bald thing well, where they look great.
It's not like I got a choice, man. Like, seriously. Yeah. It was going to happen either way, so go with it. Enjoy it. Embrace it. Have fun. Look, I've saved so much money in haircuts, I won't lie. Like, seriously. So much money in haircuts.
I believe that. They're kind of pricey.
Yeah.
But yeah, folks, an update if you are just logging in and you're just like, oh, hey, just got here. What's going on? Like, what is this, like, weird setup? Is basically about 30 minutes before the stream, Andrew said he was not going to make it and that he needs to sleep more. And we are here trying to do an impromptu debate. And thanks again for your support of the GoFundMe. Sam, we appreciate it. And thanks for being here. The Machine Lies, happy to have you. We are going to jump into it. By the way, just to be sure, so the Machine Lies, this is Christianity versus secular humanism. You're cool with that?
Or would you like another topic?
Yeah, I mean, you suggested that, people debate what they feel. Obviously, I'm not a Christian.
Yeah,
I'm willing to debate the Christian position.
We're looking for.
That's what you prepared for, but
but I'm also. For someone. That's what.
But I could just argue a general theist position if that's fine.
Well, what religion are you part of? A religion at all? Any kind of organized religion? Yeah. What's
I'm a
your?
Muslim, yeah.
Okay, so we could certainly do Muslim versus secular humanism.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
So, you're saying you want to defend what exactly? Just religion or? By the way, folks, what we mean to say is we are looking for a person that is, if we're like, hey, Christianity versus secularism, we're looking for more of a Christian ideally, but so you want to defend that religion is better for society than secular humanism? Yeah,
sure. I think the arguments, personally, from my perspective, I don't think the arguments from Christianity to Islam would be that much different against secular humanism.
I concur. Yeah, no, I have no problem with it, James. I've got no problem with it whatsoever.
Yeah, is there a way that I could change my name to the Machine Lies on this Zoom call?
I think you do that when you log in, don't you? I'm not 100% sure.
Let's see. We only have minimum time, so what I'm going to do is just crop out your name, and I'm not able to do an updated I'm not able to do an updated overlay, so they will at least not see the name that is there.
So, mate, if you go to participants and click on the participants button down the bottom, you'll see a sort of sidebar come up. There should be 3 dots when you hover over your name. If you click those 3 dots, you should have an option for rename. Did you get all of that?
Okay, yeah, thank you. I found it. Thank you so much.
No problem at all.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that'll be fine. Thank you for that. Yeah, we can get going as soon as you guys want. And I'm sorry for, I apologize for my appearance. This is not normally how I appear.
Oh, no problem, mate. It's not a problem.
Thank you so much. Nancy.
I will judge you on your arguments, not your dress. How about that?
Okay.
I think, okay, forgive me. It's just that I really kind of expected, and I know that I appreciate Mark is more easygoing than me, but we do have a person named Reid that is like actually a Christian, and they want to make the case that Christianity per se is better than secular humanism. So no offense, please don't take it as any offense. It's just that was what we were looking for to kind of stick with that topic. And so I think we're going to do that. Forgive me. But yeah, I think what we could do is we could have you on another time. And
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, that's fine. Just keep me in your prayers and the email there. And yeah, blessings. Thank you so much. I just wanted to come in and say I'm available if you guys didn't have anybody.
Well, I don't have prayers, but I'll keep you in mind, Machine Lies. Not a problem. We can do it some other time. Not a problem at all, mate. Sorry about that.
Thank you, brother. Yeah.
Thank you again.
I actually faced Andrew Wilson live and defeated him. The question was on the collapse of technological civilization.
Move
He
forward.
showed up, really? Amazing. I'm sorry, just having a dig at Andrew. I shouldn't. He's not here, but
We're going to move into Grid. So thanks, Grid. If you want to jump on. And Sarah, I need Grid to email me, though. I don't have his email, so I can't give him the Zoom. If I give him, I don't want to put the Zoom link in the live chat. So he'd have to email me at moderndaytodebate@gmail.com, the one that you used to email me, Sarah. If you tell him to email me, because I don't have his email address, I can then send him the link. So I don't, yeah. So that Zoom link I do have ready for him. And thanks, Sarah. But again, I do appreciate that you did get us someone that fits Andrew's position. But the only thing is that, you know, I can't get him that link unless I have his email, and he hasn't sent that, and also he would have to email me. Otherwise, that's another option. I'm at moderndaytodebate@gmail.com, and yeah. So let's see. But we are excited about a lot of things, folks. Thanks, Sam, again for your support of the GoFundMe. That GoFundMe is linked in the description box. Hank Oflamio says, why isn't Sarah coming up herself? Ooh, challenges Sarah. And yeah.
Is that Sarah from Raging Tomato?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll debate her.
And then Nunn said, what is with the clickbait with Andrew? So the reason that Andrew's on the thumbnail is he was scheduled for an 8 a.m. debate, and then 30 minutes beforehand, he emailed me, DM'd me, and said that he is, he's too tired, he's not going to make it. And so said he didn't get enough sleep. Let's see, where is this one? But yeah, we are very excited to have Grid potentially enter in here. Grid is not emailing me, Sarah, so I appreciate that you know of a person who said they'd be willing to jump in, but you can't make the debate happen, of course, unless they email me. And the only reason I'm especially rushed, because normally I wouldn't be so rushed, but it's just because, what's the word I'm looking for? Okay, texting is just, I don't have my phone in this room. If you can just email me, that's also like easier for me to give them that, because I don't send Zoom links over the phone. But yeah, we are thankful for, let's see, Don Walker. Okay, Don is willing to jump in, it sounds like. Let's give Don a chance. So Sarah, sorry, but it just the practical part of like being able to give them the link is kind of key. So I'm gonna give Dawn a chance here, and thank you very much, though, Sarah. We do appreciate that. And normally I wouldn't be so rushed. The only reason is just that Mark is staying up super late. Mark is in Australia, and so we can do a really quick, like 1 hour debate and then let Mark get to sleep, because I think it's about 12 in the morning where Mark is, and the debate hasn't started yet. So we're going to do a really pithy, like 1 hour or so debate, and then we'll rock and roll. But yeah, Sarah, again, I appreciate you. Thank you for finding Grid. Perhaps the next one. Oh, that's right. David Brown, forgive me. I missed you there. Okay.
Yep, no worries.
Oh, Don Walker is Grid. Okay. Bingo, bango, bongo. We are all set. That's so good to know. Thank you so much for that. Raging Tomato, thanks for letting me know that. And huge street cred to Raging Tomato. Enslaved by Truth says, I thought it was a 12-hour stream. Yes, but we can't do the 12 hours all at once. This is just the first hour. I don't know why you're confused. So basically, I'm sorry, but some of these things, like sometimes you see things where I'm like, what? Like, it is a 12-hour stream. It's just that we're only into the first hour of it. Why is that confusing? But anyway, Don, thanks for just what is going on? Thank you so much, Don, and thank you so much, Sarah. So, Sarah, I'm going to add you to the description box as a producer, and I will tag you in there. And so, yeah, I want to say thank you guys for all of your support. Don, thanks for being here. How are you?
Hello, Don.
Sorry, I'm just checking to see if I have volume. Can
I
you
can
guys hear me?
you.
Okay, great. I can hear you now. Perfect. That works.
Perfect. Yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you, Don, for being here. What we're going to do is jump right into this. So, like, let's say 5 to 10 minute openings. And if you even were like, hey, I'm not prepared to do an opening, that's okay. We could just jump right into the open dialogue. That can work too. If you want to say, hey, I'll just defer it to that. I'll kind of push my time over to that. That works. And let me just do one last couple little tweaks here in the OBS so it looks nice and aesthetic. And yeah, excited, Don. Thank you for being here. Thank you for jumping in. And Mark, thanks again for staying up super late.
No problem.
And we are going to rock and roll in just a moment. And folks, I will add Don's link in the description box as well. So keep an eye out for that. And Mark's is already there. And I will add Sarah's in for getting us hooked up with Don, letting me know that Don is Grid. I am thankful.
Yes.
Thank you for being here. Grid, if you prefer, I can call you that. I'm happy to do that.
It's all good. It's all good. It is all good. I answered all of it.
But yeah, I'm pumped. So, okay, here we go. What I'm going to do is, Mark, you cool going first?
Yeah, sure. I did have a presentation, but since Grid hasn't had an opportunity to prepare anything, I'll just throw it aside and just do a ad lib kind of presentation, or just an opening.
You got it. Here we go. In 3, 2, 1. I'm going to switch it over. 3, 2, 1. Ready, set, go. Hey, everybody. Today we're debating. Now let me just connect my mic on this side. Hey, everybody. Tonight we're debating Christianity versus secular humanism. Which is better for society? And we are starting right now with Mark's opening statement. Thanks for being with us, Mark. The floor is all yours for your opening.
Thank you very much, James, and thank you to Modern Day Debate for hosting this, and thank you to my opponent, Grid, who is very, very nobly filled in for Andrew, who could not make it today. So secular humanism versus Christianity is the topic that we're looking at today. Which one is actually better for society? And I think that a lot of the time secular humanism is misrepresented in sort of some of these debates. Really, when you really drill down to it, secular humanism is all about human well-being. So I want to make sort of a very, very definitive statement that if you're not talking about things in the context of is it good for human well-being or bad for human well-being, then you aren't talking about secular humanism. You're really talking about something else. Now, this sort of meta-ethical goal of human well-being applies to multiple things. Obviously, with the individual, it applies to your just physical well-being, how you can get enough water, food, all of your physiological needs. It applies to your psychological well-being, how happy or contented you are with the way that things are going in your life. And it also applies to society, just basically how overall content society is. That's measured on something called the happiness index. And by happiness, and one of the principles of secular humanism is the greatest happiness principle, isn't really about sort of temporary happiness, like you win something and you're happy about it. It's very fleeting. It's a very temporary emotion. And that's really not what it's talking about. What we're talking about is sort of overall life satisfaction when we say that. So don't be mistaken that it's pleasure or that fleeting feeling of happiness when you get something or enjoy something. It really is overall life satisfaction and lifelong contentness. Now, we can measure this in multiple countries, and what shows is that some of the more secular countries, like the Scandinavian countries, Sweden, Norway, Finland, they also have the highest happiness rating, as well as a lot of other secular countries. Now, this can be misleading because, of course, they are developed countries, so it can be a number of things due to how much technology they have and things like this. But it really shows that it isn't required to be Christian to be happy, and that secular countries can generate happiness significantly without any large religious movement. So how do we do this? Well, it's basically a utilitarian philosophy. Some people call it a religion. I don't think that's accurate. There's no worship involved, so I don't think it qualifies. Some people would disagree. But it really talks about how we get the utility of well-being for the most people and of society. And it's a balancing act. We have to balance society's needs of well-being with individual well-being, like how happy we are, how comfortable we are. Now, in comparison, Christianity really goes in for authority from some kind of deity, and this becomes a problem because whenever that is applied to a society, and don't forget, we're talking about whether it's good for society, not part of a society, not good for Christians, but all of society. When that gets applied to society, that authority is rejected by a whole load of other religions. For instance, even the same religion, different denominations. For instance, if the Catholics put their religion in, the Protestants all dislike it and will not follow them because they insist upon a papal authority, where the Protestants have more a personal authority with their relationship with God. And then you have these problems of even other religions. You know, we had Muslims being persecuted, we had all kinds of other people being persecuted, and this persecution is generally what authority with Christianity will lead to. Because while there is a claim of absolute authority, there is no real way to validate, either empirically or it seems to be otherwise, which one in fact has the authority and which one is true Christianity. So what secularism does, and secular humanism specifically, is that it distributes the same rights and the same obligations to all religions and non-religious people. So it essentially treats everybody the same. This is based upon something called the Veil of Ignorance by John Rawls, who says that if you're to design a healthy society, you really want to design it so you're relatively satisfied no matter what part of that society you're born into. So you're pretty satisfied born into, you know, being a servant and you know, a cleaner, as well as satisfied coming in some kind of upper class. But essentially, that's how it works. And so secular humanism doesn't make this assertion of authority. It doesn't say your religion needs to be persecuted because we have the authority over you. Rather, what it does is simply looks at whether actions are harmful to people in that society. So if there is a religion that's, say, a cult that is literally harming people as it goes, then secular humanism will say, well, that is a bad thing towards in virtue of that utility of well-being. So in this way, it doesn't make any overarching assertions. And also, the big thing is that secular humanism does not impose itself on other people. It doesn't say you have to believe this. It simply says this is how we evaluate it. And if you wonder how we evaluate it, generally secular humanists use science. Science is the best way that we can find out what the world around us is and facts to do with the world. Even if, look, you may think that a God is responsible for science. Okay, I disagree. But we still know that science is the best way to evaluate the reality around us, regardless of where it comes from. So that's really where we base our estimation of how something is good and how something is bad. Now, science doesn't tell us how we ought to use it. Doesn't tell us whether we should build a nuclear plant or a atom bomb. That's where we need something else. We need to look at philosophies where we can say, what should we use this for? And that's where secular humanism says, well, we can use it for the well-being of people, and that's how we should use it, because we are interested in the well-being. Just on the last thing, I really want to point out, and I really want to make it clear that as time has gone on and humanity has discovered that it's sort of sitting precariously on Earth, this floating in space, one of the most hostile environments around us, it really behooves us to work together and cooperate. These pro-social behaviors are emphasized by secular humanity because we don't think there's anyone coming to save us. We don't think there's any rescue from any deity or power or any authority. We think that humans will be the creators of their own success or the instruments of their own destruction. So this is why secular humanists believe that we have to cooperate, because on this earth, it may just take all of us working together in order to survive and thrive in a hostile environment. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that opening statement, Mark. We are going to kick it over to Don Walker, and I have not gotten to update the name tag on the screen. As you guys have probably noticed, Don is subbing in for Andrew. Thanks for being with us. Don, the floor is all yours for your opening.
Yeah, Walker, Wilson, it's all good British names. I really appreciate my opponent. I appreciate your point of view. However, I don't think we're going to find, I mean, we'll find some common ground, but I don't think we're going to be able to agree very much. And the reason for that is while everything you said at base has some measure of truth to it, the reality is that there's nothing in secular humanism that calls for you to be a good person. There's nothing in secular humanism that calls for you to do anything other than basically do no harm to anyone else. But that doesn't mean that you have a calling or a need or some virtue that is required to be a part of being a good person. There's no morality there. You can't appeal to any form of morality. And at the end of the day, I think that while it was a very good speech, it's a bunch of nothing really. And I look forward to going forward with this because sure, horrible things have been done in the name of religion, right? We can agree with that. I don't disagree with that. I think that there are bad things that happen in every aspect of the world, but I think overall, Christianity is the motivation and the foundation of all modernity. And I don't think that you can prove otherwise. Matter of fact, I know you can't prove otherwise. And so I look forward to this back and forth. I really can't wait because I think that you think that you were debating Andrew Wilson, who's going to take you down a logic train, and I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to I'm more of a brute force sort of person, so we'll get into it, and that's basically my opening.
Thank you very much for that opening as well. We'll jump right into the open dialogue. Folks, this is going to be an abbreviated debate where we got about an Maybe like 50, let's say 45 minutes of open dialogue, and then we'll have maybe like 10 to 15 minutes of Q&A, and then we got to let Mark go because it is going on 1 in the morning at
Please,
that
yeah.
point for him.
Okay.
So
Yeah, thanks for that intro, Don. And you know, I don't, you know, not being able to find common ground. I hear you with that. I don't think do no harm is correct. Do no harm was the Hippocratic Oath, right? It was basically the Hippocratic Oath. Now, doctors don't use the Hippocratic Oath anymore. They use the Oath of Geneva, and the reason why, part of the Geneva Convention, the reason why is because sometimes you have to do harm in order for the person's well-being. Like if someone has an infected leg, you have to do harm in order to help them, kind of thing. So do no harm isn't really a correct stance. It's really looking up, well, is this in the person's best interest? Can we increase the well-being of this person by doing this, is really what we're looking at. So I feel that that's sort of a straw man, that it isn't necessarily do no harm. It's taking the best option for the most most amount of well-being we can.
Okay. I mean, sure, the least amount of harm, but there's nothing that calls you to do good, right? The reality is Christianity has a mandate
Mm-hmm.
to do good,
Mm-hmm.
right? There's nothing in secular humanism that calls you to do anything other than exist, and that's the reason why it is always going to be not the best option for humanity. It can't be, because in order for us to grow, people need to be um I'm not really super prepared here. I'm searching for the right word. Need to be motivated, need to be grounded with the desire to do good, and a morality that makes it something that is desirable. And nothing in secular humanism, you can't point to anything in secular humanism that says go forth and do good. All it is go forth and don't be an asshole.
I don't see that as the case, because so there is a humanist manifesto, and there is a certain level of, well, what we ought to do, and secular humanism is kind of a moral system. It will tell you what you ought to do and ought not to do based upon human well-being. Now, I agree, there's nothing that says you have to care about human well-being, that you have to care about society or the fellow humans around you. I think that at a base level, that we all feel empathy. That's a fact. We have mirror neurons that allow us to feel empathy, unless somebody's a psychopath or sociopath. But I think that guides us in what we want to see. I still don't think that caring about human well-being is objectively something you have to do. But a lot of the time it's in your own interest to do. And through empathy, most people do care about human well-being. Do you care about human well-being?
Oh, okay, sure. But I care about human well-being because I'm a Christian, and I have a moral grounding for that. Secular humanists have no moral grounding whatsoever. Even your ought claim can't be substantiated, and I could take you down the path that you know well that Andrew would take you down to prove out that you can't make an ought claim, because logically you can't appeal to anything but your preferences and your wants and needs and desires, and anybody else's wants, needs, and desires can and will be different than yours. And while I'd love to waste 30 minutes of our 45 minutes talking about that, we already understand where that argument's going to go. I would much rather just continue forward with the absolute fact that you can't give any basis for your morality except your preferences over someone else's.
Okay, so you've
You
sort of
can't
said,
appeal to objective morality. I mean, the minute you do that, then I have to do the whole argument, and we already know where that's going to go. And again, we're on a truncated timetable, and I'd love to do the Andrew Wilson thing of beat you down
okay,
with
well, let me
logic.
reply, because
But right
I
now, I
don't
don't want to.
claim objective morality. That's the
Okay,
thing.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
I think that
Please do.
sort of these frameworks that we have, that what I care about human well-being, that's intersubjective. It's like something that is subjective but agreed upon by a whole bunch of people. And you've said basically you care about human well-being because you're a Christian, but I think that even if you weren't a Christian, you would still care about human well-being. And I've met many ex-Christians that do care about human well-being, and there's many societies that are secular and non-religious that still care about human well-being. So how would you explain those countries that are sort of a-religious that still care about people?
I'm sorry. I'm being asked to raise the audio. My audience is
okay. I'm sorry.
I can't do that. Yeah, they were saying I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Mm-hmm.
I apologize to my chat, and I apologize for getting distracted. So as far as sorry, walk me just really quickly through that.
Okay, so you've said that you care about human well-being because you're a Christian,
Mm-hmm.
which kind of implies
Yes.
that you wouldn't if you weren't a Christian. But a lot of people who used to be Christians still care about human well-being, and there's a lot of
No, I would
countries
be a horrible
without
person if I weren't a Christian.
Christians that care about human well-being as well. So I don't know how you explain all of these non-Christians that still care about human well-being through societies all over the planet.
I mean, people can care about those things, but there's no reason, there's no driving force. I care about people because I'm a Christian, because otherwise I would be a pirate slitting throats.
Would
Okay.
you?
I know myself. I'm literally not a good person. I'm a really bad person.
Do you
I'm a
feel
mean, angry individual.
interesting?
I know that about myself. Christianity tempers that and forges me into something that makes me want to be a better man. And if you and it's interesting that you can't understand that.
No,
But
I
I'm just,
can't.
I mean, as a man, as a human male, I endeavor to do violence, and the only thing that restrains me is my good grounding in Christianity.
Okay, well, that's horrifying, but don't you have any empathy towards other people? Like, don't you understand when someone gets hurt, you feel for them and say, hey, they're hurt, that must suck. Don't you have that empathy for other people?
Sure, I can understand that people are hurting. That doesn't mean understanding it and caring about it are two entirely different things.
So you just don't care if they're hurt?
Why would I care?
Why would you
if I'm
care?
not a Christian?
Well,
Yeah,
usually
why would
what
I care if I'm not
happens
a
is
Christian?
in the brain, your mirror neurons will actually signal to you saying, hey, somebody is hurt or something's happened to them, and it will
Yeah, I
actually
don't think the
generate.
science is conclusive on that. I think that that's something, an
absolutely
appeal to science,
conclusive.
an appeal to technology that is not necessarily proven out. And we know that because literally people do bad things every day en masse. I mean, look at the Middle East. If you want to talk
Yeah.
about any kind of humanism, look at all of the godless people in Africa that kill each other. I mean, you have to understand that
Are
I
they
don't
secular
believe in
humanist?
secular humanism as anything other than an excuse to act like a Christian without actually believing in God. Can you explain that?
Don, no, I want to address what you said, because those people in
Sure.
Africa, they're not secular humanists to begin with, and a lot of them are Christians. In fact, a lot of the people killing young girls as witches over there are Christian, and it doesn't seem to temper them any. And, I can regale you with the amount of atrocities that the
Again,
Christian
I
church
acknowledge
has not only just allowed, but also commanded people to do throughout the years. So it doesn't seem like these people, and I'm sort of explaining to you how the brain works with empathy, and it sort of shows why people in other countries can have empathy and can still, not slaughter everybody around you, which apparently you want to do, just by using empathy.
Do you believe that violence is a
well, just one
natural
second,
part
Don,
of
but you
humanity?
didn't answer
Okay.
my question with how those people in those other countries have very stable and very, like, most crime is lower than in, the Christian majority countries. So how do you explain that if without Christianity you're immediately drawn to violence?
Well, hold on. So that's an interesting argument. Yeah. So in most Christian countries, right,
Mhm.
where are Christians committing the crimes or are non-Christians committing the crimes?
Well, the incarceration rate of Christians versus, say, atheists is incredible in the US. It's highly proportional towards
Well,
Christians.
they come to Christ after they go to prison because they see what actual horrible things are. And as a matter of fact, some of the most devout Christians come out of our prison system because they go in as horrible people and then they become good people.
Yeah, I
And this
don't think
actually
it
proves my
accounts for the
point, not yours.
disparity. It does not
I'm
account
sorry?
for the disparity. Enough
How does it
people.
not?
Well, because enough people go in there, then the atheist is very, very low on that metric. And don't get me wrong, some Christian denominations are very low on that metric as well. I believe there's a couple of them that are pretty low. But all in all, it doesn't show that Christians have any propensity to be law-abiding or show pro-social behaviors.
Here. I think you're being purposely obtuse, and you understand exactly
really
what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that people are, especially as young people, or people who are born into less than desirable situations, they bend to the easy path, correct? Can we agree on that?
I think there would be
live a life of crime, correct?
Yeah, I think I would agree that is a preponderance of people in lower socioeconomic classes to, commit crimes, sure.
Sure. Yeah. Well, even very wealthy people commit crimes, but that's okay. We'll just work with what we got. So if that's the case, and they're not Christians, and they go to prison and they find God, that supports my case and not yours, because what you're saying is that, well, everybody, you have this empathy in your brain, and then that's what makes you do great things. And however, these are criminals that go in as atheists and come out as Christians.
Yeah, so you still haven't addressed why the crime rates and things are much lower in these, say, Scandinavian secular countries than in Christian countries.
Crime rates in the way that they're accounted for.
Please do so.
In the United States, I don't know about other countries. I can't talk about Scandinavia. I can tell you about the United States. Our crime rate is based on the amount of crime that's reported and documented. The actual number of crimes is much higher. So I can't really answer your question as far as crime rate, because we don't know what it truly is.
Well, I think the whole suggestion that you need Christianity to be, somehow moral is sort of thrown on the bonfire when you look at these secular countries. And so the whole thing about your claim, you haven't accounted for it whatsoever.
Hold on, I don't want to move on yet. I understand that you don't understand that it's moral, but it is in fact moral. That's a fact. You can't argue that fact. That's just a fact. Christianity is moral.
It is moral. So any Christianity is moral. So all of these atrocities done in the past, they're all moral, are they?
They were done under a moral compass. I agree that there are atrocities committed. However,
but do you acknowledge that the church was immoral when it did that?
The church has done, and very specifically, one church in particular, that churches, those churches have, if they do commit immoral acts, they pay for that. Right? They have a hard time.
Really?
So, but immoral. So, hold on, and that actually brings up a good point. In moral secularist, what keeps you moral?
It is the virtue of caring about human well-being that basically keeps me moral.
So, if you decide not to care tomorrow, that's
well. What if you decided to worship the devil tomorrow?
Well, that would be like an about face, and I wouldn't be a Christian anymore.
Yeah, and I wouldn't be a secular humanist anymore. See the ridiculousness of what you've said? Like, you basically said, well, what happens if you decided not to be a secular humanist? Well, yeah, I wouldn't be a secular humanist. There's nothing stopping me from doing that. Hang on, let me finish. There's nothing stopping you from stopping being a Christian either. It's ridiculous to say, hey, you could stop being what you are. Yeah, then we wouldn't be, like, then what connection does it have with the debate
I guess
topic?
What I'm saying is, and I shouldn't have said it in that way. You're right. I should have phrased it better. What's to stop a secular humanist from going out and committing horrible acts and still claiming to be a secular humanist by doing good, the acts that they feel are good? Because it's all based on your feelings, and I'm not hearing anything where your soul is damned to hell or there's any repercussions other than, well, you just don't get to call yourself a secular humanist anymore.
Okay, well, basically it's that secular humanists adhere to what, scientific evaluation is. So that's essentially what we try to pay attention to when evaluating these things. At least we have an evaluation standard. So if we go out and do something...
Who's we?
Secular humanists.
I mean, do you have meetings?
What do you mean?
Do you get together?
There's a secular humanist associations for Australian one. Yeah, there's an Australian one. There's an American one. There's.
Is it like?
Do we have to?
Okay. All right. I'm just curious. That's very interesting.
Yeah. It's definitely a community. Well, a religion, I don't think so, because religion, my definition of religion, or the usual definition would be that you have a frame of worship, something to worship, and we don't really worship anything. Some have called it a religion, but I think it's sort of misguided, because a religion suggests
Yeah, I do too. I
that
think it's more of a cult.
it's a philosophy. It would be the most accurate term. So it's a philosophy of how to live your life, which is entirely accurate. The idea of a cult, I think that's ridiculous. We're not. If you've ever looked at the Bite model of cult Christianity, and some of the Christian sects really fit that model, secular humanism definitely does not. Information control, restriction of social interactions, the freedom of information, none of it applies to secular humanism. So that's just ignorant, and you have no idea what constitutes a cult at all. So the whole thing is that, I could go out and do all of these horrible things, but I don't want to, because I care about human well-being, and I interact with it. So when you're talking about morality, I can say, well, whatever draws us towards human well-being is moral, and whatever draws us away is immoral, essentially. So when you say, hey, there's nothing...
You get to decide what's moral, and
no,
I
don't
decide what's moral, and I can decide what you want, what you are thinking is immoral.
No, I don't, because once I've
example,
chosen... Well, let me address that. You've just gone on. No, don't just say something and then run away from it. Basically, if I have...
Hold on, gentlemen, 1 second. Just let me interrupt, because I need to break it into 1-minute segments if there's too much talking over each other.
Well, you asked me if there's...
final...
Well, you asked me if there's...
Any final point?
Okay, yeah,
that
go.
The last person speaking wanted to make? I couldn't even tell who it was that was making their point before we went into the...
Mark was making a point, and I started making a counterpoint.
Well, finish off, and I will, I'll hold my tongue.
Go for it, Don.
All right. Yeah. So you get to decide what's moral. There's nothing that tells you what is moral in secular humanism. So just for example, if I wanted to sit around and do heroin all day, if I decided that was moral, then that would be moral. If you decided that it wasn't, then it's not. And this is just honestly, it's the craziest thing I've actually, now that I'm really considering it, it's actually really insane. Because you get to decide what is good or bad. There is no like 10 commandments. There's no, consequence if you don't do it this way. There's nothing except, well, I don't get to call myself a secular humanist anymore. And I don't see how that's good for society. Now, since the debate prompt, and I got to move it back a little bit, and I'm sorry for doing so. I'll let you answer that.
Gish galloping right now.
On the way back, I'm sorry.
I want to address that. You're sort of gish galloping at the moment. Okay, so basically you're saying I can decide what is moral, good or bad, but I can't. I can't decide that doing a substance is good for my well-being. That is, unless that actually changes somehow in reality, that is not a thing. Because somebody that uses substance, they might be blissful for a while, but they're not well. Okay, that scientifically they are not well. So I can't just say, hey, that is moral because that's good for their well-being, when as a matter of fact, it is. The only thing that I decide is that human well-being is important, which I have done, which is the thing that makes me a secular humanist. From there, once you have established that is your goal, there are certain things you ought to do. Empirically, that will get you to human well-being, and certain things that won't. And I can't just decide, hey, cutting myself is going to be good for my well-being, because that does not follow. So you're sort of going, well, you choose what your meta-ethical goal is, therefore you choose within it what is good and bad for it, and that is not the case. Once you have the meta-ethical goal, then it becomes a matter of, I won't say objective, but it becomes a matter of sort of almost objective things where, it is objectively true that heroin is bad for you. Would you agree with that?
I mean, I can agree that it's objectively bad. I just don't believe that everyone else agrees that it's objectively bad. You and I can agree on it, but not everyone does. And what you're...
Does science say it does?
Hold on. You're saying that there's this guideline, and if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. But you haven't not defined who gets to say it's good or bad. There are people that believe that doing heroin is good for them. And if that's the case, then they are just as secular humanist as you are. Is there a written rule that says doing heroin is bad?
Does science say it's good for you?
How do you know that it's good?
Does science say that it's good for you? Do scientists say heroin is good for you?
I can be a science denier and still be a secular humanist.
Well, no. In it, if you've actually read about secular humanism, in it, it says, in my introduction, science is the best way we can evaluate the world around us. So if we want to know if something works, and keep in mind we're talking by virtue of science discovering things today on presumably opposite ends of the world. We listen to the scientific consensus and scientific evaluations of the world around us. So we evaluate that in light of what science tells us about it. I made that abundantly clear. And science would not say that heroin's good for you. I think you understand that doctors would say, no, that's really bad for you. That is not good.
I understand doctors say a lot of things. But however, do you know, have you ever heard of Arthur Conan Doyle?
So who do you listen to apart from doctors?
Well, I listen to many people, but out of curiosity, have you ever heard of a man named Arthur Conan Doyle? Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yeah. He wrote Sherlock Holmes and has no understanding of what deduction is.
Sure. Do you know that he used heroin and cocaine his entire career?
Sure.
Was that bad for him?
Yes.
How do you know?
Because he was a heroin addict who suffered greatly.
Was he a heroin addict who suffered, or was he a brilliant author who brought us some of the classics?
Both can be true.
Well, you have no proof that he suffered, though. But I have proof that he was a brilliant author.
I know
that he used heroin.
Okay. So can we reasonably infer from the data that we have that using heroin will make you an awesome author? Or can we reasonably infer from the data that we have that heroin will make you have a really crappy life?
But that's not what you just said.
You're avoiding the question.
What you said was it's inherently harmful, and science tells us that. And I'm saying, sure, science tells us many things that may or may not be true. Science, by the way, is not law. Science is a bunch of theories that are continuously tested, or therefore they're not science. So I'm going to just discount all of that, and I'm just going to keep coming back to, if someone is a high-functioning addict, which we know exists, can they not also be secular humanists at the same time?
Okay, so as you said, I said it was inherently harmful. I didn't say that. I just said that doctors and science tell us that heroin is hard to...
I made inherent. I said
correct. Yeah, I never said inherently. I said it's objectively harmful, and it is. If you look at what it does to people, it is objectively harmful for your body. It is a poison.
Some people.
So even if something is somebody is a functional addict, they are still an addict. And so this idea that an addict has got, their psychological health is in good working order is usually not the case. So usually what we're doing is we're saying, can we reasonably...
You keep using these terms usually,
and could you not interrupt me, please? Could you not interrupt me?
Again,
well, when looking in things, we have to say, can we reasonably have the expectation that this will lead to well-being when we're sort of looking at actions and leading to consequences? I mean, I'm not the one saying that they want to brutally murder everybody around them and basically is saying, well, ain't heroin great? That's what you've said.
I'm not sure that follows. I think that you're trying to kind of move out of this. Look, the reality is secular humanism is nothing but your preferences. You can't appeal to anything. You can't appeal to anything that I can't just say that's your preferences. It was Conan Doyle's preference to use heroin. He wasn't a secular humanist, as far as I know, because
so I don't know why you're bringing him up.
Because it didn't exist back then. But I do believe that he was not a devout Christian. He was probably an atheist, and he would probably consider himself a secular humanist who thought that he was doing great things for humanity. I just don't get how you keep trying to appeal to objectivity when there is no objectivity that you can put out, that I can't say that is just your preferences. It's just your little group's preferences. It's not even somebody that it's not even things that the entire world holds to be true. If you say, for example, that if you go to, I don't know, India, and you say that riding cows or eating cow is good, they're going to say it's bad because that's part of their religion. And I personally love to eat meat. I don't know. This is all very interesting to me, that you keep coming back to your preferences, and they're somehow morally right, and I don't agree with you. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, but
Well,
you haven't convinced me at all, and I
you
don't
have.
think that you've been able to move the needle.
Well, you have not in any way shown that in virtue of human well-being, that, using opioids or any kind of substance is good for human well-being, and I would disagree. But I want to ask you.
No, that's okay. Stop. No, every day opioids help humanity. Every single day.
Yes.
Doctors prescribe them every single day. So
yes.
Come on, man.
Yes, but you're talking about somebody addicted to opioids all their life.
I didn't say addicted. You inferred addicted.
Okay, I'm pretty sure you did. He kind of used them
I said,
a lot.
there's someone that uses heroin. Is that morally wrong according to your
if it's bad for their well-being, yes. If it is to stop pain or stop suffering, it may be okay for their well-being as the minimum amount of suffering. But this whole thing about, why is just using heroin just not fantastic in your worldview? It's because usually reasonably, can I please finish? Reasonably, we can expect very harmful things to happen. And considering America is in the middle of an opioid crisis at the moment, and you're sort of going, well, it can be fantastic, is not a very reasonable way to address whether something ought to be done or ought not to be done. But I'd like to look at your worldview at the moment, because I feel like you're just grilling me on mine. If God says, or just say, we're talking about morality, where does morality come from? Is it just what God wants, or is it taken from some other place?
So morality is within the scriptures. Have you read the Bible?
I have.
Okay. So my morality is based on the scriptures. My worldview is created by the scriptures. I will tell you that, first of all, I'm a Southern Baptist, so I believe that if you sin, you go to hell. I tell people that all the time. I believe that unless you seek redemption for your sins, then you're probably not going to do well in the afterlife. And there are many other things that are unique, kind of to Southern Baptist, that you may or may not be aware of. So I won't go too far down those specific routes unless we need to, which I don't think we have time for anyway.
Well, how do you know that the Bible reflects morality? How do you know that that's actually, I'm presuming you believe in an objective morality.
Okay. All right. Rather than it just being a great storybook that somebody wrote down and everybody just believes in.
Yeah.
Well, so what we have is we have a secession from the earliest days, and we can now prove out most of it, right? Like, obviously you can't prove out all of history. We still don't even really know, but I shouldn't say we don't really know. There for decades, we believed that Christopher Columbus was the first in the New World, and now we know it was the Vikings, and there's evidence that maybe the Phoenicians were actually the first to America. So who knows? Science evolves daily, which is why we can't use it for morality.
Well, that's history, not science.
However, I digress. The Bible, and again, I'm not the best person to argue the continuity of the Bible. I'm not an orthodox. I'm a sola scriptura person. I believe in the text, and I believe that it has remained unchanged because God wills it that way. And,
well, I'm not really asking that. I'm asking how you know that it does actually reflect accurately the objective morality that you believe in.
It does.
That's not what I asked. I asked how you know that.
Its teachings and morality have taught me to. Sorry, something go on here. Sorry, I was on my bed. My teachings and morality come from the Bible and the teachings, which came from God, and that's what I adhere to. So, I don't know that I'm qualified. I don't normally go too far down this path because I don't really feel like I'm qualified. I'm not a priest. I'm not.
Well, it sounds like you're saying that God sort of told what morality is to these people, and then they wrote it down. So is morality what God tells us is moral and immoral as through the Bible?
Yeah, I get my morality through the teachings of the Bible. Thou shalt not
Okay.
kill, thou shalt not commit adultery. If we get into the New Testament, marriage is between one man and one woman. Men should not lie down together. I mean, we could go through that, but I don't know. Again, I don't know that you're asking me to go through the entire thing. But yes, my morality comes through the teachings of the Bible,
Okay, so 2
which
points.
are time tested.
2 points, right? Number one, if morality comes through the Bible from God telling what it is, basically saying what it is, then your morality is subjective as well, with the subject being a God, but it is still subjective. Number two, if God relates, like basically says what morality is and puts that in the Bible, he could quite easily just change that morality and tell you that it is now moral to slaughter hundreds and thousands of people. Go out and do it, sir. What would prevent anything that from happening if God decides what morality is?
So that's an interesting argument. It's one that I hear used a lot, and I have a little bit different take on this. So God, are you? Did you? Man, I don't know if we have time. Do you remember in your reading of the Bible the story of the Canaanites?
Oh yeah, yeah, and the
Yeah, God told
Amalekites
the
and the
Israelites to go murder them all.
Edomites again were slaughtered as well. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Do you know why he did that?
Well, I mean, in the text, it says that they were doing religious practices that they didn't like. They were sacrificing
It was
babies
Old
to
Testament, so
Moloch. Yeah, well, yeah, but you've just referenced the Old Testament in your morality, thou shalt not, etc., etc. So I don't
yeah.
see that as off the
Hmm.
table. But the whole point was that we don't know that was the case, and killing people to stop them from killing children, including the children, isn't really solving the problem for me. But it doesn't address my question, which is why couldn't God
No, no,
just say,
I'm getting to that. I just wanted you
okay,
to
sure.
understand. I just wanted to make sure that you understood the story. So God has changed the he didn't really change morality; he changed the law. You understand that in the Old Testament, he gave the law. The law was to be in place until it was fulfilled. The coming of Christ fulfilled the law. Now that while it didn't change the morality, it did change the law. Morality is divine and comes from God. If you don't believe that, then I can't help you. I can't get you there. Okay, I can't reach into your brain and flip a switch that says believe in God. That's not I'm not capable of doing such things. All I can tell you is that when I appeal to something, I'm not appealing to my preferences. I'm appealing to a divine authority.
Yeah, so that's not an argument as why I should believe you as a dogmatic assertion that you're basically right no matter what. And that doesn't really fly with argumentation. You haven't explained why God couldn't just change his mind and say, hey, I'm the master of the universe. I could just change things so, all you people go wipe out another people. And considering we've seen a lot of that from Christianity, I mean, you haven't actually given any reason why that couldn't be the case. You claim objective morality, but it's not objective because God has put it in the Bible. It's subjective. Subjective means stance dependent. In this case, it is God's stance that basically makes it. But then it's just as rocky as anybody else's. So it is 100% subjective. And God could
Okay.
bring out another book like I don't know, maybe the Quran is true, and so now he's changed his morality again. But you don't recognize that one. But all I'm saying is you cannot explain
That's
sufficiently
another great argument, by the way.
why your morality can't change.
That's another great argument because, in theory, the Quran is an extension of the Bible, a new book that is not accepted. And I agree. I don't accept it either. But it's interesting because you know that you can someone that does not have to believe in God in and of itself to gain morality from reading the Bible. So the two are while but and basically referencing it, right? Like say I reference this Bible and it as a divine authority. You don't have to necessarily believe that God exists. You can just say, well, that it came from someplace other than my understanding, and this is what we should do. So I don't understand. I guess kind of. I know you're trying to push all of this scientific law and the idea of what's what's to keep God from changing. Well, he could. He's God. He could do that, but he hasn't. And even if he did, then that would be the new word, correct?
So
but that would be a higher power, not a human being. So what you're asking me is if Jim Bridger came out and said, you can all be Mormons now and have multiple wives, and here's my new Book of Mormon, that I as a Christian would follow that blindly, and I wouldn't, because I don't have any proof that he spoke to God.
Some people did, though.
There would have to be revelation. I mean, I'm wondering if you actually have read the Bible, because I don't think that you actually understand it in a layman's terms, because I'm a layman. I'm not a priest. I stumble a lot with scripture. I'm not a particularly good.
But some people did follow him,
I'm not Andrew
right?
Wilson. I'm not Andrew Wilson, so I'm not going to beat you down in that same regard. But I'm just going to tell you over and over again that it is divine, and therefore it could change. That's absolutely accurate. However, it hasn't. And by the way, it references in the Bible exactly how, when, and why it might change in the Book of Revelations.
Okay, well, I don't think it's divine. I think it's really human-made. But you can believe that if you want. I don't, that's fine.
Sure.
I just think that you've sort of said a lot of things that sort of say, well, it won't. But that sort of presupposes that you know what God will do in the future. But I have another question for you.
I didn't. I specifically said it could, but it hasn't.
Right. If God commanded you,
don't do that. Don't say things that I didn't say. I didn't say that. I was very clear in my meaning. I did say that it could, in fact, change. And there's an outline in the Bible about why and how it might change in Revelations. You should go read it again.
How do you know it hasn't changed?
I'm sorry?
How do you know it hasn't changed? How do you know that the Quran isn't the correct one?
Well, I'm not up on the exact science of the Quran. I haven't read it since I was in college, and that was 20 odd years ago. Actually, almost 30 years now. I'm old. But my understanding is that God will make it known when the new book is passed out. Revelations covers that. He did not make the Quran known. The Quran was given to a prophet, who we believe is a false prophet, not revealed to the people. So that's what I believe. So
yeah, I don't
believe
that.
You can.
They believe differently.
I believe that Muhammad was a false prophet. So
yeah, fair enough. If you had Jesus come down and or God come down and command you to wipe out an entire group of people, would you do it? Is that moral?
I'm sorry, if he commanded. So hold on. You're asking me if someone told me to go kill these people, because they need to be killed, would I do it? Yeah, absolutely. We have wars every day.
Okay. So, and I just want to point out that doesn't need to happen. All that has to happen is you believe you've been told by a God, right?
I don't need to be told by God. I can simply be told by the President of the United States, go kill these people. I'll go kill them right now today.
Really? No matter who they are?
If we're at war, we're at war.
What if it's U.S. citizens?
I'm sorry?
What if it's U.S. citizens? What if it's Australians?
I would have to see some proof that there was a reason, but sure.
Okay, well, what if the reason...
You seem to have a very interesting idea of how the world works. I can't wait to understand it, but I'm going to have to do some reading on this this particular issue.
Sure. It's just, you seem to...
you live by a non-aggression principle, right? You're basically, in the United States, you'd be considered a libertarian, probably.
I'm not sure, non-aggression. I think that I would certainly self-defend myself. I don't think I would sort of say, well, I'm not going to use aggression if it's used against me. But I do have a problem with the churches trying to persecute other people in society and thereby breach the social contract that we all have to be treated equally. Sure. It is incredibly bad for society when one segment of it is treated badly, because usually they fight back. That there's a long history of that happening. So, as I said, the problem is that when you start to go...
I want to explore that a minute. Do you believe that violence is inherent in human beings?
Do I think that violence is inherent?
It's just part of who we are?
No, I don't.
Really?
No, I think that survival mechanisms are inherent in human beings. One of those can be violence, but that has caused a lot of problems from when we first evolved and having survival mechanisms to today, where if you think you're being attacked and not really being attacked, you can actually create that problem out of nowhere. And we see it a lot in these escalating situations. That's why we teach the police to de-escalate and not like shoot everybody involved and then sort it out later. That's why they do that. It's because we have to override that aggression principle in order to have a functioning society, or else there's just violence everywhere. My problem with Christianity is it sort of has an assertion that they can use violence against others in order because they have a divine right to do so. Things like, divine holy wars and divine right of rule and things has not particularly been successful in history because the oppressed people fight back.
I think you need to look into in humanity more. We are a violent species. Most species are violent. We are exceptionally violent. You can't name one point in history where we have not been violent. You cannot point to me, as a matter of fact, if you can, please do so, a society in the world that lives without aggression.
I think, well, I think it is something that humans have, but I don't see why we need to be beholden to it, why we have to sort of give in to base instincts and fight all the time. Why
have
we
that
can't...
luxury because you live in a first world country.
I don't
not
think
being violent
really...
is a luxury. Not being violent is a luxury. It's not a right. It's not something that is just is.
Well, sure, I'm aware of that.
Do you believe that you have the capability of great violence?
Yes.
Okay. What
Sure.
keeps you from it?
That I have empathy for other people.
Okay.
I understand what it's like to be subject to violence. And as I understand that in order for our society to function, I've got to restrain and not do violence to other people, because if I do that, they're going to do violence to me, and our entire society will be garbage, absolute garbage. So this is the whole social contract. We basically say, well, each of us have the right to live as free humans.
So it's a libertarian
and you
principle.
can...
Okay.
Well, that's not libertarian. The social contract
is actually exactly libertarian.
No,
it's a
it's
social
not.
Contract. It's the NAP, non-aggression principle, all of
No,
that.
no.
That's exactly
libertarian. No.
It's almost ANCAP.
No, it's constitutionalism is what it is.
No, I'm constitutionally...
One thing is, I hate to do this, but just because Mark, the reason that we can't go longer is that Mark actually has to take off. Or by that, I mean, it's going on 1 a.m. And so in Mark's time zone, we do have to jump into the Q&A. Sorry for doing this so abruptly, but you guys, like, we could always host you guys in another 1v1.
Yeah, when I'm actually awake and dressed in something other than a t-shirt and sweatpants, we'll do that.
That's fair.
That can totally
That's
work.
fair.
100%. So we're going to jump into these questions that we have had, and we want to say thank you again, Sarah, the Raging Tomato, for helping us find Grid. Thank you for Grid jumping in last minute. And then, folks, the reason Andrew Wilson is on the thumbnail is he was scheduled to debate, and then Grid was... we are grateful that Grid was willing to sub in for Andrew. Raging Tomato says Grid said he... thanks for that. And Hanko Flamio says, why isn't Sarah coming up herself? I think they're just teasing Sarah.
Leave Sarah alone. Come on now. Come on.
But yeah, huge thanks to Raging Tomato. She's linked in the description, as well as Grid and Mark. Robin Webster says, people who don't care about others are psychopaths.
Or sociopaths, yes.
You guys agree?
Well, I think that sort of psychopaths and sociopaths get a bad rap. They're so through either, neurology, how they're born with it, their mirror neurons don't work in the case of psychopaths. Sociopaths, usually it's through trauma or some event that has, caused them not to feel empathy towards others, but they get sort of a bad rap. They're usually very transactional, but they don't have to be violent and things like this. They can understand the benefit of cooperating with others, and we can help them because we understand how this disorder works. But she's absolutely correct. People with no sense of empathy are sociopaths or psychopaths. That's what we call them.
This one coming in from, do appreciate it. Nublet says, quote, secular humanism is not a cult. We don't do information control, restriction of social interactions, etc. And then they said, bro, so I think they're quoting you, Mark. They say, bro, have you heard of COVID? I mean, what I meant to say is the virus that shall not be named in 2020.
Yeah, so when we got lockdowns in Australia and we tried to halt the spread of a disease, we had a lot of interactions. News was fairly broad. The idea was that what people were saying were actively causing harm and causing people to die. So, some of that has to be restricted when you're basically giving medical information and you're not a doctor or somebody who has any proficiency in understanding virology or epidemiology or anything like that. So, I think that sort of saying that this is a cult because they don't allow people to masquerade giving medical advice, and a actual cult stopping any information coming in from outside and only allowing them to hear the echo chamber of the cult, I think that's a bit disingenuous to equate the two things. You could still talk to your friends, you could still talk to everybody else. Seriously. What the?
Any thoughts, Don?
No, I don't have any thoughts on that. I'm not really. I mean, to me, it seems like just another made up philosophy trying to avoid the idea of organized religion.
Of course,
you got it. This Gabriel Valencia says, even if science says it's quote unquote good, what is the obligation to follow that quote unquote good? Well-being of humanity? Why should we care about humanity?
You don't have to care about humanity. You don't have to be a secular humanist. You may have other goals in mind. Generally, though, even somebody that's completely selfish, they can see the benefit of cooperation within society. So generally, when you have these societies that have pro-social behaviors that are working well together, you will find that everybody in the society benefits. So it may be in your best interest to cooperate with that society. But, why do we have to follow science? Well, I didn't say we did, and science doesn't prescribe you to do anything. All it does is tell you about how the world works. So, like my example that I gave was you discover nuclear fission. Science doesn't tell you whether you should build a nuclear plant to help people get power, or you should build an atomic bomb and commit atrocities. We need something else to guide us in that, and secular humanism is one of the things that guide us, saying, hey, these fruits of science that we've discovered, we'll use it towards the benefit of humanity in general. So that means Christians, Muslims, everybody. We don't say, hey, those Muslims aren't our people. We don't want to help them. No, we help everybody. And there's a lot of organizations that do that, like Médecins Sans Frontières, the French Doctors Without Borders. They're a secular organization. They will help anybody. So there's a lot of organizations like this out there.
You got it. Thanks for your question from Andreas Whalen. Parentheses, Whalen 88 says, if you're good, you're going to do good. If you're bad, you're going to do bad. Being religious doesn't change that. Perfect example. Just look at what the Catholic Church has done to many, many children.
Yeah, the Catholic Church has done horrible atrocities, including not only what they've done to our children, but also they've basically tried to stop condoms going into Africa and caused the AIDS epidemic in the 80s, essentially, as well as, missionaries have gone in and taught them to kill witches and things. Absolutely horrible. But I'm not sure I would agree, sort of good and bad people. I don't think people are good and bad. I think that actions and, sort of things that people do are good and bad. And yeah, we sort of say, hey, it's a bad person if generally all of the stuff they do is bad. But I don't think there's an inherent goodness and badness about people. I think people can do really wrong things and absolutely horrendous things. But, I think it was Noam Chomsky that once said, we each have the capacity to be a saint and a gas chamber attendant. And I do agree with that quote.
You got it. Donna, do you have anything?
Yeah, I have something on that. Can you just read it to me so I'll make sure I have the exact quote?
Yeah. So they said, if you're good, you're going to do good. If you're bad, you're going to do bad. Being religious doesn't change that. Perfect example. Look at what some of the atrocities with the Catholic Church and children.
Yeah. So since we've taken religion out of schools, more I know what they're obviously insinuating the the problem the Catholic Church has had over the past decade or so of priest and children. But you're more apt to be your children are more apt to be assaulted by teachers or other staff in public school system in America than they are in any Catholic church, and the numbers bear that out. Being mad at religion for something that humans do rest is the retreat of the weak, and just keep retreating there because we don't want you.
You got it. And anybody that just tuned in, the reason Grid is here is because we have people constantly logging in and they're like, what's going on? Is Andrew didn't make it 30 minutes before he said he can't make it. Grid jumped in for him. And so we do appreciate that, Grid. And Sarah helped us connect with Grid. And we want to say a huge thank you to Mark. So uh, the reason that I know that I probably sound like I was furious at the start of this stream, because Andrew said he was too tired and he was not going to make it and he's going to go back to sleep instead of coming to the debate, is that it not only is kind of a slap in the face of me, but also it's kind of a slap in the face of Mark. So it is kind of like, yeah,
Oh,
that's
I'll
like.
turn the other cheek, James. There you go. There you go.
So now I do want to, the last question though, I want to ask. So since, let's see, just out of curiosity, what are your thoughts on this, Mark? Because I'm just like, oh, this is interesting. Because the Raging Tomato, thanks for your super chat. Says thanks for hosting, James. Mark, appreciate your willingness to adjust. And Grid, thanks for jumping on last minute. I vote for a round 2 with better prep time. Oh yeah, and that's the thing too, is that thank you, Grid, for jumping in with like basically no prep. And
Yeah, I don't normally
basically,
debate religious topics at all. I'm not
yeah,
qualified to do so.
and also if for me, I don't know if you're like me, but my body, the older I get, the longer it takes for my body to like be awake. When I wake up, I just, my brain is not working nearly as well as like the evening. For some reason, the evening time, my brain is like, it's sharp. But in the early part of the day, I'm usually like slow and groggy. And I also, yeah, so I appreciate you doing it early in the morning, because if you're like me, at least, it's
I was up
tougher
till
in the
one
morning.
o'clock this morning. I did 2
Wow.
streams yesterday. Well, 3 technically.
That's, yeah. So well, thanks again for doing it extra busy when it's just you've been basically streamed out already. So
Well, I have
what we're
another
gonna
one
do,
tonight.
wow, you're cooking. You're doing a lot here. Is, but I want to say huge thank you to both of our guests. What we're going to do is we actually have a third guest that's just going to jump on any minute. But this is actually maybe a good opportunity, Grid. If you're willing to stay just a few minutes until our
Sure.
third guest arrives, you can we can talk about like debate con stuff as we've been talking
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
that. And then Mark, I will let you get some sleep though. Bro, I
Yeah, sure.
appreciate you and thank you so much for staying up late with us.
All right, no worries. Is that the end of the questions? Is that all?
That is actually all for our questions.
All right, no
Everyone else is
worries.
asleep too, Mark.
Yeah, sorry, mate. Yeah, I will duck out. But thank you so much, and yeah, thank you so much. I know jumping in last minute is really intimidating and really, really tough to do. I've been there, mate. So yeah, absolutely, thank you. I really appreciate it. But James, always a pleasure, and yeah, I will see you in the next one, I guess.
You betcha. Thank you again, Mark. Take care, brother.
See you, mate.
With that, folks, we are just thrilled. We want to say huge thank.
Okay, peeps. Yeah, so I'm out now, so that's it. I just want to quickly go through and see if I missed any super chats. I see one from Left-Handed Jedi. Google passed arrested for, and you'll get a new name nearly every day. Yeah. And I think to that one, what I would have said, I don't, with the question and answer, I don't like allowing someone to have an answer and then interrupting and say, I want to add this. And, Dom was really good for jumping in, so I give him credit for that. I think that I would say, hey, yeah, but schools, don't have a concerted effort to cover up what happens there and move the people around evading law, right? This is the problem, that it wasn't just what happened in the churches. It was the church itself was complicit in covering up what had happened for their own benefit. And I think that's what the problem is. You rejoined at the last minute. Well, congratulations. Look, he wasn't bad. I mean, he had a bit of sort of, oh, this is the truth kind of thing. But, I kind of expect that. I think he's kind of pre-suppy because he sort of said, oh, well, I believe in the Bible and the Bible is true. It's kind of like, well, how do you know? How do you know? But yeah, I wasn't. There was another super chat. Oh, you're killing me, Smalls. You're killing me. I don't know. Was there another super chat? There probably was. Hold it. Let me just see my my thing. Well, my chat's all out of whack. I don't know if you've noticed. It's all out of whack. So yeah. I will stay up for a tiny bit because much love, everybody. Much love. And yeah, I think I gotta admit, I'm kind of happy it ended. My brain is breaking down as we speak. So yeah, let's see, earn, and then supers. I'll get there. You just wait. I'll get there. Left-handed Jedi. Good people do good things. Bad people do bad things. But oh, was that? And I can't see the rest. God damn it. I do see it there. Do you want to just ride in again, Jedi, if you are there? Jedi's maybe has left. I'm not 100% sure. But if you are there, Jedi, just ride it in again. Just ride it in again. Oh, and Robin, you did a readership earlier.
This is Democracy Manifest.
This is democracy. Yes, it is. Let's see all. Let's see if I can... Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. So, if I can do something, window capture, Chrome. Window capture. Hold it, just one sec. It's all right. I had an old presentation lined up. You may not realize this. I had a presentation all lined up and ready to rock. I was kind of disappointed I didn't get to use it. It was pretty good. It was pretty good if I do say so myself, which I do. I do. But thank you. And that hit unapologetically. Chrissy gets a super chat. Good shot, Robin. Good shot. Okay, can this work, please? No, it can't. Okay, so why are you not working? Oh, there we go. Okay. So if I go, and then I grab this and go down there, and then I move this up. Boop. Oh, that's a very thing. So, okay, so we've got left-handed Jedi saying good people do good things, bad people do bad things, but it takes religion for good people to perform horrific actions. Yeah, and it really, look, Jedi, it really horrified me that he said, hey, if I wasn't Christian, I would just slaughter everybody around you. You know what? I don't believe that. I don't think suddenly, you would have a family and suddenly go, well, I'm not a Christian, so I'm just gonna, take a knife to my family kind of thing. Why would you do that is completely beyond me. I don't, I don't believe that's true. I don't believe that's true. Hanko Flamio with $5. Thank you very much. And Left-Handed Jedi, total of 10. Thank you, mate. Here's 10 hugs for you, mate. Go for it. 10 Bigfoot Jesuses for you. Hanko Flamio for $5. I'm going to give money to you instead of... Oh, I read that one out. Yeah, you didn't ask me for a relevant... Look, all of my bullshit will be relevant. Oh, Book Singer's thing, therefore it must be true. I think I read that out. But yeah, thank you, Beheaded Kamikaze. Hanko Flamio, Left-Handed Jedi. Thank you so much. Just while I'm here, and I might get rid of that, just while I'm here, what I might do is... what I might do just quickly is just do a little thing here and let's see. Let's grab a box. Fill, would it be black? So let me show you what I'm doing at the moment actually. Oh, that's not working. I'm so worried about like crashing my my OBS right now. I won't lie. Oh, I can't. All right. Well, let's get some text and go. What text do I need? I need maybe some impact or something. Let's see. Impact. I do like Impact as a text font. I really do. I think it's fantastic. I want to do something like... No, we want it in white. Yeah, it's kind of frustrating, but to be honest with you, it's been frustration all the way from woe to go with this guy. Like Andrew Wilson basically changed the time like 50 times. You know, like I mean, I'm obviously I'm over exaggerating. It was definitely 4 or 5 times he changed the date and time kind of thing. So it was kind of very, very I don't know, just incredibly unprofessional. But I can't help that, and I do apologize. It wasn't meant to be clickbait. It really was not. But you know, what can I say? Just a frigging no-show. Um, okay, let's. Oh, look, I'm not. I'm not going to say that. I'm just going to let other people say it for me. Sure. You know, I don't know. You know, I think that Jim Bob really didn't have a good time against me. You know. Um, I think Jim Bob really had a rough time against me. So I think that, you know, maybe he isn't interested in debating me. Maybe. Who knows? Who knows? I've got to somehow get that in Inkscape. Yeah, okay. So I'm just going to go through. I've got a little thing here. So where is my pictures? Thumbnails, debates. Okay. So I'm going to get this thumbnail. And I've got my little thing here, so I'm going to grab that. Maybe reduce it a bit. Whoops. Oh, that looks good. Do you think that looks good? I think that looks good. All right. Let's see. I want it as a maybe a PNG or oh, I need to export then. Okay, that's my bad. My bad. Export. No, that's not what I want. Document. Oh, I want to crop that. Oh yeah, okay. Export selected only. I don't know why it's got the stuff down there. Okay. Let's see. What have I got? Thumbnails. Um, Oops. Okay. Beautiful. Just cancel. Screw it. All right. And then I will. I'm not sure if I can change the thumbnail while I'm actually in here. I've just been ignoring everybody, by the way. I do apologize. He's only following Jesus by not showing up. Oh, that is hilarious, Eve. That is hilarious. Look, maybe he will in 2,000 years or so. Maybe that's the standard showing up for Christianity. 2,000 years later, he's definitely there. Definitely there. That's hilarious, though. I love it. I love it. But I'll update the thumbnail so I'm not clickbaiting anybody. Yeah, and we'll go from there. But yeah, oh wow, my brain is breaking. I'm not even sure how I'm gonna update this thing at the moment. I'm like, someone send me something to help. Somebody, please send me something that will help me. I'll see if I can update it. I'll see if I can update it. Thumbnail. Other debates. please. Yeah, there we go. Okay, beautiful. And I'll just change the name of it to what was his name? Grid. Uh-oh, did I break my channel? Please no. Please no, have mercy. Have mercy, YouTube. No, there it is. Okay, cool. Cool. Oh, it doesn't look the best. All right, fuck it. I don't care anymore. Like, seriously. Versus Reid. Fill in for no show. Grid. No, I can't fit that. God damn it. It's grid. There we go. Wilson no show. I think I can get this better. Actually, I think I can get this better. I'll see. Let's see. So if you look at this, it'll probably have the new thumbnail on it. Hopefully, look. I don't want to fool anybody into thinking I actually debated Andrew Wilson. I'm doing the right thing. Well, I hope you all enjoyed that. I really do. You know, I was really worried that I wouldn't have anything to anything to show you. Like it was just going to be all, you know, nothing. Oh, thanks, Cam, but I appreciate it. Appreciate it. I really do. I'm just going to update this, but yeah, I'll do this. Thank you so much, everybody. It's been fantastic. Thank you much to Left-Handed Jedi, Heinko Flamio, Robin for the super chat, the membership. Sorry, everything. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. So I'm glad we got something out of it, and we had some fun. I managed to, you know, say something about secular humanism, even though the, you know, opponent was a bit horrifying. I still enjoyed the debate. So thank you so much, everybody. And I will, well, be kind to yourself. Don't do what I do and stay up late. I do have a stream tomorrow morning as well, so I better dash. But be kind to yourself, be kind to each other, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.
This old switchboard could talk. Wow. Your ears would sizzle. 1880. We take Alexander Graham Bell's invention for granted today. Perhaps we should. But isn't it incredible that millions and millions of people can talk simultaneously to practically any spot on Earth?